Well, g'day everyone. Welcome to our new, yet to be titled regular series. We've had a whole lot of people connecting with us and asking how you're doing, what you're doing, and what are you doing, as many churches are trying to work out how to move online. And it's nice to be able to introduce you to really the three guys that are really helping hold a lot together. I mean, what's lovely is we've got such a big team of lots of different people doing a lot. But we've got Stu, who manages all our communications, Neil, who's managing both our Sunday morning services and a lot of the IT, and Dan is our associate pastor managing our care. What we thought we'd do is just start to have a regular discussion about what we're doing and how we're doing it, and hopefully as we learn together how to do church online in this era, we may some of the mistakes we've made and the lessons we've learned may be helpful for others who are doing a similar kind of thing. Neil, I guess we'll start with you. I remember you said it a while ago. We were, I think, about 4 weeks in, and we'd just done 4 weeks of every week being completely different. We're settling into a way of doing church on a Sunday morning that I think is probably a little bit different to how other churches are doing it. Do you want to just explain? I think for most people, when they think of church, they think of the Sunday service. So probably just to say, we're thinking we'll come back and touch on all the things we'll talk about today in more detail. But just, Neil, if you give a bit of an overview of what Sunday mornings are looking like for us, and kind of how we're doing church online at the moment on a Sunday morning.
Sure. So I guess our journey has been that we started off as most would have, with our sort of auditorium scenario. We got in the last couple of weeks prior to lockdown, managed to record some stuff, and that's been useful. We've been using that in the weeks since, but really we've discovered that church is more like what you're looking at now. It's a view into people's homes because that's where we're all operating from. So we've wanted to really move with the times, I guess, and even the worship segments that we were fortunate to record now feel a bit dated because we don't use that auditorium anymore. That's not where people's lives are anymore. So we're looking at sort of staying really contemporary and focused. We've tried a few different ways of doing that. As Matt said, 4 weeks in and we've done 4 different things for the first time. But we've ended up with an approach that is mostly live. So the technology we're using is called vMix. And with that, we're able to have both a combination of live content. So Matt, just like you're seeing on the screen now, comes into the system, and he's able to host the Sunday morning completely live. What he's saying is what people are hearing within 30 seconds or so. It can play videos. So at the moment we're using our pre-recorded worship. This week we started to record the messages because we found that actually works better in our dynamic than trying to do the message live, which we had done on our third effort at doing it for the first time. So yeah, we're learning as we go. The technology is all out there. It's all very usable. We've been really blessed that we've been on this journey now for a couple of years. So we've learned most of what we need to learn about the technology in the past 2 years. And now it's just all coming into play in how we do this completely online for our Sunday service.
And so what we're thinking with this segment, we'll record this once a week, and we'll unpack the different aspects of stuff we're working on, and we'll unpack more of what Neil's talking about there in weeks to come. Similarly, we'll unpack how we're caring, connecting with people, because while most people think of church as your Sunday service, it really is the relationships that are what matter. And Dan, you're heading up a lot of our care and connection. So maybe just give people an overview of what we're trying to do in that area.
Yeah, well, that's right. Before all this, it's pretty regular for us to on a weeknight go over to a life group or a Bible study to connect and catch up. And with youth, of course, I was running youth, and that's a weekly kind of Friday program. And yeah, now that we're all need to limit our gathering and we're in each other's homes, we wanted to work out how do we still continue to connect because it's so important. And some of the feedback has been the realizing that just for the youth being at school and hanging out with mates and how they're missing that. And of course, that's the same for all of us. How do we actually still have genuine connection with people in this time? And the key thing for us here at Citywide is that no one stands alone. And so we want to work out how do we actually have a system in place here at Citywide, because we have so many people offering to help, to give a hand with food, with helping with the IT stuff, with getting groceries and those kind of things. And so how do we actually help make sure the resources get to where they need to go, and we're aware of the people that need the help? And so one of the ways that we've been doing that is having regular phone calls to people. And that, even in that itself, we've had to work out how do we create a network so that we're ensuring that everyone is getting a call, or those that would like to are getting that call. So we're in the process of being able to put something together that uses actual Planning Center, which is a program we've been using for a long time. And then with Neil's help, we've been working on actually making that a bit more user-friendly and accessible, so that people from our congregation can be part of that care team and can make sure that no one's standing alone.
And so we're looking forward to being able to share with you some of it's actually software that's being written to integrate with our existing databases and show you how we're trying to manage care in future, and also finding ways to connect. And really that's at the heart of what Stu's been doing for us. So yeah, I can't speak highly enough of these guys and how each one of them is bringing such a significant role to enable us to do what we need to do. But Stu basically rebranded the whole church and redid the website from the bottom up in a week, and has continued to do it. And mate, what are you trying to achieve with the website now in our communications at the moment?
I suppose the first thing that comes to mind is just simplicity. Just don't get too deep. Don't let the pages go too far. Let's try and answer the questions, or try and anticipate what people are actually coming to us for. So keeping it simple, having easy to understand, menus and so on, so people can find what they need easily and quickly. Not to be confusing, we found one of our pages particularly was we had all this new stuff going on, and it was just getting longer and longer and longer, and things were getting lost. So let's just take it back to what's most important. Let's find easy ways through our website to find what we want people to find, or what they need to find. So just that simplicity. We didn't have to have half the website I just sort of binned or put off to the side, at least I should say. It's still there. People need to find it, but it's not front and center. Let's have the pages that people need right up front, easily found. And particularly we found with our older members of the congregation, they just need easy pathways to our online services and Zoom meetings and so on. So we'll try to keep it as simple as we can, and have a consistent message and consistent colours, and when it comes to design, just keep things looking as simple as possible and consistent through there as well.
So I don't know what you're picking up in all this, but basically we are still very much in the innovation stage. We're trying to work out how we do this. Church is moving. Sunday mornings will always be central for us, but it very clearly is moving to a whole week kind of thing. We're doing devotions every morning. We've got reflections every evening, and a whole bunch of other video content that's sort of starting to come through. And what we figured is we'd just have a regular conversation like this, just to let you know what we're working on, how it's going, what hasn't worked, what has worked, and things that we think would be worth other churches thinking about, and things we can tell you categorically don't work. And we'll try and have a conversation like this on a weekly basis, just to, as best as possible, pass on what we're learning. Because our sense is that God really is doing something in this moment with the church, and there are things we're going to learn through this process that are going to shape our church, at least, very much into the years to come. And so we want to make as much of that as visible as possible, not only to the people in our church, but to the broader world, and particularly to other church leaders and teams who are also wrestling with the same kinds of questions. So we'll tell you more about what we're up to in coming weeks, but that's a bit of an overview of some of the things that we're working on here at Citywide Baptist Church. Should also point out that we're working very closely in partnership with Wynyard Baptist Church up the northwest coast, with Riverlands Baptist Church, also Coastlands Baptist Church, and much of what we're doing is preparing the ground for a statewide, and we're doing our services statewide and partnering statewide. So that's been a bit of fun too, which we'll talk more about in the weeks to come. So there you go. That's an intro to some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, the cogs, the nuts and bolts of Church Online. Hopefully it gives you a bit of an idea, and we'll tell you more in future.